Last week we talked about how do I find my bigger story when I don't even know I have one. In our story journey, we discovered that it all comes back to positioning. What we do with one thing, we do with all things. If you're fully embracing your everyday situations and learning the lessons you need to learn, you will fully embrace the life lessons when you're hit with deeper pain, even though it may take longer to recover. But what happens when you feel stuck or feel that you've done your part and aren't able to go on? That is what we're going to look at today. What happens when someone has hurt you deeply? You have forgiven him or her, but because it is a business situation, such as a coworker or a family situation, you're not able to get away or move on. These things happen all the time and are not easy to deal with. However, there are some important principles to consider. One, you only have control over one person, which is you. No matter how hard you try, you cannot control the other person. And if you attempt to manipulate the situation, it will surface and only get worse. Two, being in control of yourself means checking your attitude, your motives, your behavior. Does your attitude, motives, and behavior align with someone who is authentic and honest? Have you done everything possible from your part to correct the situation? Three, have you forgiven the other person? Sometimes when we are deeply hurt, we choose not to forgive someone, thinking they don't deserve it. First of all, if that is the case, it is your resentment or anger speaking. Secondly, forgiveness applies even more to you than it does the other person. It is releasing you to move on with a heart of integrity. Four, a higher level of forgiveness. Years ago, I was caught up in an ugly business situation and had done everything I knew to clear the path, including forgiving those who had deeply hurt me. At one point, I had sought wisdom and counsel from a couple I highly respected. Their first words were, "Have you forgiven them?" I said, "Yes." Then I was unprepared for what they said next. They said, "Have you blessed them?" I thought, bless them? At the moment, I wasn't even sure what that meant. As we talked further, I discovered it was really wishing the very best for them. I realized immediately this was a whole nother level of forgiveness I had not considered. It took a while before I could do that, but eventually I did bless them. It's interesting what happened. When they saw the freedom I was walking in, it triggered even more anger for them. But at that point, it didn't matter to me because I knew I was moving forward, leaving the past behind. My new freedom brought significant results. Much to my surprise, I excelled in the company and received significant promotion and top awards. The biggest award was that I was walking in a new freedom that no one could take away. How do you find your story when you haven't fully embraced your pain? In this case, you have a few options. The best thing, if possible, is to do a deep evaluation with yourself to see if you have fully embraced and fully forgiven. If you haven't fully embraced it, if possible, I encourage you to do it at this time. If you can do it with someone else that you fully trust, I encourage that. It is not something you're ready to do at this time. I encourage you to give it some additional time and come back to it in a few days. You may be asking, do I have to come back to it? My response to that is only if you want to enjoy the abundance waiting for you. If you choose not to follow through, you will not walk in complete freedom, and you will repeat the same patterns in upcoming situations. I can assure you, it is not worth all you will be missing out on in life. Your story matters.